everyone, and welcome back to the Frontline with Joe and Joe Pasillo and Joe Resinello. And once more, let us go into the breach. Joe, the New World Order used to be tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. That's just something Glenn Beck was talking about 20 years ago and a bunch of other wackos out there. Well, I'll tell you what. People need to see, Joe. They need to see. They don't want to take our word for it. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's watch this woman, and you tell me if she is not the embodiment of the New World Order.
Infinite growth on finite resources is not only a myth, but it's extractivist and ruthlessly oppressive by design. So when talking about growth and defending growth, there is a very important first question that we need to ask ourselves. Who are we growing this economy for? And what stories do we use to justify it? We have to acknowledge what lays below our growth. White supremacy, colonialism, and imperialism. White supremacy justifies a global system of exploitation and extractivism. Colonialism lays at the foundations of the European economy, institutions, corporate value chains, trade deals, investment agreements, and geopolitical structures of wealth accumulation, which means that there is no degrowth without decolonization. We need to take these conversations outside of these rooms and make sure that for all of the hundreds of fossil fuel lobbyists demanding growth, there are thousands of us demanding degrowth. We need to redistribute wealth, cancel climate debt, implement a universal basic income, massively invest in loss and damage funds, degrow the economy in high-income countries, increase universal public services, reduce working time, dematerialize, and reprioritize what it means to live a human life.
All right, so we're going to leave it there. Joe, did she not just lay it out? It couldn't be any more explicit than that. Is this you and me just making conspiracy theories? She is a communist. She is a globalist. She is a New World Order extremist. Did you hear their agenda? Joe, please take it away from me.
I want to give 3 points. 1, listen to what's coming out of the World Economic Forum. This is not that forum, but this is the type of thing that is coming out of it.
All the same soup.
Pay attention to that because the mainstream media isn't covering it. That's point 1. And that's not conspiracy because many statements are being made just like that. Point 2, they're talking about here imperialism. What do you think globalists are doing in Western nations when farmers are losing their job? People in Europe can't heat their homes because they're basically getting rid of fossil fuels. People in Canada are being taxed to death as a result of numerous carbon taxes. People in America are being choked because of climate alarmism, ESG policies. That is imperialism.
Right.
It's just a different form of it. And Pope Francis talks about that explicitly, by the way. It's just a different form of imperialism. So pay attention. And the last point I want to make is this. She mentioned a universal income. Why? Because she knows that these policies, because we're seeing it in Canada, we're seeing it in Europe, we're seeing it in Australia, are going to crush regular people and they will not be able to take care of themselves economically as a result of it. So their solution is this. I'm going to give you a universal income, which means I'm going to throw you a crumb and I am going to put you on the proverbial plantation and you will be a slave to the state. And we're going to put forth these policies and we will cement our power and you will be under our thumb. If you're okay with that, I'm not with you.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, Joe, and then we're going to leave. Okay. Here's the point. You are exactly right. They're going to enslave those people. They're going to try to enslave everybody. But here's the most nefarious part. They, through the sex, drugs, and rock and roll culture, they'll throw you enough money so you could have all the sex you want with whoever you want. You could dress however you want. You could dress like a woman, pretend you're a man. It doesn't matter. We're going to give you drugs to stupefy yourself, hence the movement to legalize all sorts of drugs. Okay. And we're going to provide you with the entertainment that's going to numb your mind and not expand your thinking at all. So what they're going to propose is freedom. But what we here at the Frontline with Joe and Joe know is actual slavery. And this woman, she just pointed it out. And we need to all raise our consciousness so that we see her coming a mile away and people like her. Thank you for following us at the Frontline with Joe and Joe. If you see this on Twitter, please follow us and share it with your friends. Follow us on Frontline TV on YouTube and Facebook. We'll talk to you soon.